So, all of us at one point have probably heard of World of Warcraft at one point, or WoW for short, and probably most recently from Connor's speech. But it's a very popular game, and its peak it had 12 million subscribers about 4 years ago, and the game came out in 2004. And it's currently, I've been playing since early 2005, so almost 10 years now. And it currently sits at about 10 million subscribers, which is still pretty large, and it's had 5 expansion packs recently to keep the content flowing. It's not been the same exact game, there's been new stuff to do. And the most recent one came out just last month, the 13th of November. So, like I said, I've been playing this game for almost 10 years. My brother introduced me to it in 2nd grade. It's been a huge part of my life so far. And it's kind of weird looking back on it, frankly, playing this game so long. But my brother introduced me to the game, and I had a character on his account. And it ended up being my own account because he was mad I was playing on his account too much because he couldn't play at the same time. So since then, I have accumulated almost a year's worth of in-game playtime. And my current character has 217 days of in-game playtime. He's the one I've played since 2008, whenever that specific type of character came out. And give you guys a little, that's him right there. I think so anyway. And I kind of regret the name. You pay to change the name, but whatever. It is who he is. So today I'm going to walk you guys through the basic steps of how to play World of Warcraft. And that starts off first with you got to make your character. And then you got to level up because you start at level 1. There's 100 levels, so it's kind of a tedious process. And then you get to the end game, and then there's stuff to do at the end game as well. It's not just leveling up, it's the end. And as the last expansion, the level cap was 90, and as you can see here, all my characters were 90 last expansion. So I've played every single one of them, probably too much. I know way too much about this topic, unfortunately, but it works. So first, you create your character. This is the nice little compact screen here. First off, you gotta pick your faction. Now, if you're playing with your friends, you want to pick the same faction. There's either Alliance or Horde. And unfortunately, most of my friends play on Alliance, but I play on Horde. You didn't really start playing at the same time. But that's a great way to not play with your friends if you really don't want to. You can just pick the opposite faction. But there are 6 races for each faction, and then there's a 7th race that can go either way. And for Alliance, there are humans, dwarves, night elves, Worgen, and then Draenei, which are, I don't really know how to describe Draenei. They're described in game as space goats, which is kind of what they look like. They have like a weird tail and everything. And then there are gnomes. So, and Pandaren, which are basically just panda people, are the other race. Now for Horde, there are orcs, undead, trolls, goblins, what else, which is what my character was before, and then undead. And you can either be male or female. Mine was male, although there's jokes that go around that both males and females aren't so different. And once you pick your race, and then classes. And normally you want to pick your class first because the race is purely aesthetic, and only certain races can do certain classes. Like this is a Tauren, kind of looks like a cow, and he can't be a rogue, for example. It's great now, or mage, or warlock. But for classes that are 11, there's a rogue, death knight, mage, and druid, which I personally play death knight. And then Connor over there is kind of a hypocrite because he plays a mage. He plays.
I don't play the game. You like to say that?
I know Dom plays the druid. Druid's the second most play class I have. And then there is warrior, hunter, shaman, monk, 4 more. And then Zishan plays a hunter. Let's play the game. It's everywhere. And then there is paladin, priest, and warlock. And Chris over here isn't paying attention, but he plays a paladin. There's 3 main roles that these classes kind of fit into, which is either a tank, a damage dealer, or a DPS for short, or a healer. Now tanks and healers kind of have the same role. They keep people alive, but in different ways. Tanks make sure that all the mobs are hitting them as well as everybody else, and healers basically keep the tank alive and any other damage. And damage dealers kill stuff before it kills everybody else, basically. And that's kind of what these classes fall into, and it really takes a lot of experimentation to figure out what you like doing in terms of a role. And so once you pick your class, you can customize your character. Like for a Tauren, you can like change their horns up a little bit. They have like facial hair. Sometimes they have like piercings or something like that, and they're like their fur color. In that case, you can customize everything. Then you have to name your character. And there's a randomized option, but don't use that. Come up with your own name, the original. Chris's character's name is Christoph, so don't go that route. Once you make a character, you can enter the Warcraft finally, and it starts you off real nice and easy. The game's really expansive, but you only have an ability or two to start. And the way you level up is you kill mobs, and by killing mobs you complete quests. And these give you experience, but you have a bar, and whenever the bar fills up, you level up, and you do that until you get to 100. But there's slight variations between it, because there's different types of quests. Like, for example, like level 1 quest might be something real simple. It's like, okay, go kill 5 dudes over there. And then you go kill those dudes, and they give you experience for killing them, and you go back to the guy, and he will give you experience as a whole for completing the task for him. And in return, he might give you like some like in-game currency, which is gold, or like a piece of armor or something, as compensation, I guess, in addition to experience. And you don't stay in the same zone whenever you level. You start off in a zone just real nice and easy, and you stay there till level 6 or 7, and then you move on, and then you keep moving on every 5 or 6 levels or so, because if you're like level 10, you don't get the same experience from doing a level 1 quest. So you have to stay with the content. Then as you move up, there are tons of different zones, and sometimes there are even choices. So if you go back, like I said, there's 11 classes, so you have to level up 11 times if you wanted one of every one. So you can pick each one sometimes. Sometimes you can go either route A or route B, and you can choose a different route sometimes and change up your experience a little bit. And personally, I haven't even done all of the routes, so it's very, very expensive. And once you level up and get to endgame, there's tons of stuff to do. I'm going to give you, this is a screenshot of what my screen looks like. It's a mess, I know. But that's the great part about the game. It's entirely customizable, because this is not what it looks like whenever you start off. This is what I've come up with, and it's what works for me. Anyway, it's, like I said, it's a mess, but I know where everything is, so it's okay. It's kind of like your room. But whenever you get to max level, you can do dungeons to get gear. Over there's my gear screen. There's 15 slots, I think, 14 or 15. And whenever you do dungeons, you have 1 tank, 3 damage dealers, and a healer. And you do those, then kill bosses and mobs and stuff. It's a nice like group effort. And you do that to get gear. And once you get gear, you can participate in what are called raids, which are basically bigger dungeons with more people, and they're a lot more fun, because they're generally a lot harder, but they're also a lot more rewarding. So then you can have between 10 and 30 for a raid. And then there's another difficulty where you can only have 20, which is the highest. But whenever you get there, you can join a guild, which is just a group of people that you can play communally with. So, kind of a lot of information, but to sum it up real quick, you gotta make a character. You gotta find out what class works for you. You gotta level up. It's a long and tedious process, but you gotta do it. And then you gotta get to the end game and gear up. And so this is what I choose to do with my free time. A lot of us choose to play video games.